Hello, this is Kristin Peterson. I am the artist behind AlterdStatesStudio and super excited to be working with this journal that is made by Grafix. Super awesome chipboard cover and back, and interesting film pages. Some of them, again, are white, you can see. And I'll flip through. A couple are clear, which are always a good time, and then a couple are black. So I am, again, super excited to be able to work and create. The other thing I thought was super interesting was this Frisket film. But first, let's go ahead and get started. I always like starting with just a little bit of gesso on my substrate. So we will go ahead and put just a little bit down. I don't necessarily have to cover everything all together. And then always like putting down just some pencil marks to begin with, just to, again, kind of break up that background. Again, just drying and getting rid of a few of my pencil lines. And we always got to find the scissors, right? I'm always looking for my scissors. I don't know about you. But this is that Frisket film, and I always like kind of, I don't know, circle abstract shapes. And so I'm going to go ahead and put these down. Now, I did know that you could actually use that Frisket film several different ways. So you could also use it with like a cry cut or a big shot machine. So if you wanted to make a certain shape or something that you were looking at specifically, the Frisket, again, would cut really nicely in any of those. So I did put mine down, again, create a little bit of composition maybe on my cover. And I'm going to go ahead, you can see I'm using a stencil. That happens to be one of my stencils. It is available over at Stencilgirl. And then the spray was actually the spiced marmalade. Ooh, if you know me, you know I have a total obsession with this color. It is a go-to, so we shall use it. Now, admittedly here, my paint water is super dirty, goodness sakes, really dirty, but sometimes makes for just a great color all by itself. So we'll go ahead and make just a little bit of a few puddles and some sprinkles on this cover and allow the water to kind of mix and blend and move just a little bit of that distress ink. Move it just a little bit. And I'm just trying to decide if I like all of my puddles. I did happen, that's what my little Frisket film there that I was just wiping off, because of course that will resist things as well. So we'll go ahead and dry and kind of make sure that I am able to move on. And again, this just happens to be Woody Stabilo. In, again, a favorite color of mine. I love this color combo between that kind of aqua-y blue and the orange. Now, this happens to be actually an ink. If you are a writer or love fountain pens, I'm telling you, this one is a good one. It is called, I gotta look here again for you, Abandoned Shipyard. And we're just going to kind of drop in. I'm going to use this mainly as a dark on my cover here. And you can kind of see, it might be a little hard to see, but I do have that Frisket film right up at the top. So I was hoping, of course, to kind of catch and really accentuate that edge is what I was really trying to do. And you can see I'm going to come around my other little Frisket down there at the bottom. And I'm, of course, catching some of the drips and dribbles on the back. So what I happen to be working on right now is my cover. And again, not that they have to be totally matchy-matchy, but we'll capture some of these same colors, some of the same aspects onto my back cover as well. So I I don't like wasting things, so we'll go ahead and grab all of the ink out of that paintbrush, or as much as we can, before I go ahead and drop that into the water. So, but just continuing on, I do like sprinkles a lot, actually, probably more than I should, but they're just a nice way to, again, kind of provide a little more balance with the color and add just a little bit. This is a Stabilo All pencil in, I believe, a navy, and I like to make things interesting, so I don't want it to be all consistent as a sharp pencil line, and not that it's super sharp, but you can definitely see I like the bleed that the pencil does, and the move with a little bit of water here. So we'll just soften some of those pencil lines here and grab off just a little bit of that water, because I get a little carried away otherwise. So I'll go back here while we're waiting for that cover to dry a little bit, and come and do a little work on our back cover. So this just happens to be white paint. I always like a good masking tape. It's always great for texture, sticks well, and just provides, again, one more little element. And I wish I could tell you where I grabbed these little printed, they're almost like they're like a tissue paper. They are like a tissue paper. And that's just matte medium. So I'm just going to stick down with a little bit of matte medium here. We'll kind of cover where I'm hoping. I'm going to put that. We'll snag that and drop this onto our little back cover here. And then just go back over the top just a little bit, just to make sure that I've got it sealed and that it's going to stick well. And we'll just wrap that around onto the back, along with our little masking tape there. And again, I talked about kind of having some of the same colors. So this again happens to be that spiced marmalade. And again, I probably rinsed off a little bit too much, but there's our little aqua Woody. And again, a little pencil mark, a few little scribbles. I just want to make some interest on this back here a little bit. I felt like I washed off. Oh yeah, there I go. I'm like, I washed most of that off. We'll come back and add a little more of the orange here for you. It was interesting to see what the cardboard absorbed and then what sat on top. So to be fair, you'll have to do a little playing around yourself, but otherwise it is cardboard, and it did absorb the paint as well. So you just had to, again, it was kind of an interesting play for sure. Now I did grab one of those clear sheets. I love those. Those are super awesome. I love being able to play between a couple pages. It makes you think, you know, what is on the back. So this happens to be a photocopy actually of my grandma and a couple of her friends when she was young, and I love the photo. It's a great photo. But because this page is clear, remember, I needed to have something on the back of the photo so that when you look through this particular page, you're going to see the photo on the front, but you'll also see whatever, you know, that scrap paper I'm going to put on the back. So again, it also will be kind of two-sided here. So, and again, just working with that Stabilo All pencil and looking at the marks that I put down, and just want to make sure that I get kind of my composition right between the pencil mark and the photo. And I'm just going to go ahead and tape this. Again, love a little masking tape. Who doesn't love masking tape? So we'll tape part of that into place. And now I'm just, again, grabbing a little bit of paint and some finger painting to, again, kind of add a little more color and some opaqueness to this clear page that I am working on here. And I will use this double this double-sided tack. This stuff was the bomb. I tell you what, I was super impressed. So I have kind of, it's like homemade paper, this little piece. I think I got it at Dick Blick's. You can get it in a whole sheet, but I happen to just have a single circle floating around on the desk, and I was like, oh, this will be perfect on here. So I put this on, and otherwise these are kind of hard. They're not hard, but the sticker made this super easy to apply. How's that? So really loved being able to use the double-sided sticker tape. That was fabulous. And just adding a little tab up at the top. This happens to align again with my, I got a little, a flap, a number flap. How's that? We'll call it a number flap there. And I did add a words onto the front, and I'm looking, there's a little bit of space in between the numbers and the photo, and that's right kind of where my number tag was at. And I did put scrapbook paper on the back of that, but I thought, oh, it'd be kind of cool to be able to look through and see a few words on that particular page. So I am gluing down. I had to make sure that I got the words in the right spot here so that you'd be able to see it through the page. And yeah, super happy with how that page had turned out. And while we're waiting for just a little bit to dry, I'm going to circle back and kind of peel off my Frisket. That cover happened to be dry, so I left the big circle on because again I thought it was interesting to leave that, yeah, for composition wise. But let's go to this white film page. What I happened to put down was watercolor. I'm gonna call it ink, but it's watercolor. So just to be clear, even though it came out of the bottle looking like it did, this is watercolor. I used kind of a pink. There is a really lovely brown. Those two pair up together really nicely. And then I had a little bit of yellow on there, and I'm sprinkling just a little bit of alcohol and drying. And I don't know if I get bored while I'm drying, but for whatever reason, I normally grab a pencil or a crayon or something and making marks while things are still a little wet and things are drying. It's kind of interesting. And I end up, to be fair, wiping a fair amount of my color off. I loved kind of how it, and I'm not sure that it's supposed to stain, but I really liked what was left. And again, I'm grabbing that double-sided sticky tape, which was again totally the bomb, and made that really easy to put down onto my page. So I'm just working. I like how the color is dark in some areas, again from that watercolor, and then some again I nearly washed off. I love kind of that aged look, I guess is what I'm gonna say. And then just doing a little bit of collage here and really working on a little bit more of my composition and adding certain things just to bring this whole page together. Really appreciated the opportunity to go ahead and create with the graphics art journal and the film pages. These were super fun to work on, easy to work on, things attached well, held their color, just were super interesting to use. In the past, I wouldn't have said I have always had the best of luck with double-sided sticky tape, but the mounting film, it was awesome and easy to work with, really liked it. So here's my cover. There's my first page with the photo, my grandma. And then here is that last one with the watercolor. Thank you so much for watching.